Yeah, I got that there in my phone.
I gotta pull this up so I can read it. Alrighty. Okay. Call to order, recording and taping notification. As required by law, the town may audio or video record this meeting. Any person intending to either audio or video record this open session is required to inform the chair. Okay. Old business, minutes. I sent everybody Walters from 1-9.
I didn't get that.
You didn't?
I got those.
Wait, you sure?
I didn't get
Then-
that.
you
Or maybe I
did?
did, was it with some other text on it?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, I
It was in the
didn't read
last email.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed
Yesterday.
it.
So then we'll just move that to,
No, it's fine. Go ahead if you guys like it.
it was wonderful.
I have one correction, because these are official minutes
Your name?
of
Can I
record.
screw it up again?
It's the Harwich Noise Containment Committee.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the Ad Hoc Harwich, so if that could be corrected. Other than that, they were excellent.
Good. Been a while.
Okay, so minutes from 2/18, you don't have those yet.
I am looking at the transcription on YouTube, and it's, I've gotten 3 minutes in.
No problem.
It generates this
We'll just-
transcription, but it's like more,
We'll put this off till next Tuesday, yeah, next Tuesday. All business, we need to really get down to defining plainly audible, because the 31st is fast approaching. So,
I had some thoughts,
yeah, go ahead.
and I had a handout.
Perfect.
Okay. So I think we have 3 choices at this point.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
So, just to be clear about, I'm not sure everyone, especially the new guys, are clear about what's the situation. But there's a bylaw and there's an entertainment license. And the bylaw, plainly audible is a defined term, and that's what you see in the middle column on the front page. In the entertainment license, there's a public hearing in 2016, and they were intending to use the bylaw standards, but there was a clerical error, and the defined term didn't make it in to the entertainment license. So the current state is that there is no definition in the entertainment license, which is what operates the noise situation. So that's one choice. We can leave it as is. The second choice is to use the bylaws definition. And the third choice is to use the enhanced, the definition we went over last week. Or something in between. But those are the 3 big choices we have so far discussed. So then I did the pros and cons on it on the other side.
Wow, Bob.
And just going through it, clarity, if it's undefined, it's pretty vague. Using the bylaw definition, it's less vague. With that, the additional definition, it's still, the bylaw definition is pretty good, but with the enhanced definition, it's very clear. Does it get everybody on the same page? Because that's what the charge, it doesn't say it explicitly, but you get a feel that that's what they want us to do, get everyone on the same page. When they wrote the charge, they didn't understand that this was the situation, I believe.
So everybody, you mean, was it everybody?
Business residents and
Yeah, business
actually-
residents.
So before we vote, we'd send this out to the businesses and have them give their opinions.
We're going to do it.
Yeah.
Swiftly.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good thing to do. We would need to get everybody on the same page. I think we'd want feedback.
I second that, sure.
Okay.
It's a good idea. Okay, well,
So
go ahead.
Okay,
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay. Okay, so we don't have everyone on the same page with the undefined version. And when we use the bylaws definition, it gets everyone more on the same page. And with the enhanced version, because it's more specific, we really get everyone on the same page. Third point, are volume limits reduced? No, if we leave it undefined. It does, oh, you taking notes? Are
It's
you-
all
are
good.
you the secretary?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
just
got
checking.
notes on
Oh,
it.
it's not.
Oh, no,
Sorry.
So our volume limits reduced. They aren't reduced with the undefined, the as-is. We do bring the volume limits down, should be able to bring the volume limits down using the bylaw definition. I think probably bring them down a little bit further with the additional, the enhanced definition. Do we have a uniform, consistent, compromised noise policy, which is specified in the charge? I don't think we get a policy or a long-term change to the picture we have with an undefined, leaving it undefined. However, if we use the bylaws definition, it should help provide more guidelines for a long-term policy. The same with the other the enhanced definition. Consistent, predictable enforcement. So that what are the tests? You know, how loud is it going to kick off for? So we don't get that if it's undefined. We do get that it's more predictable if it's better defined with the bylaws definition, and still more predictable and consistent if we use the enhanced definition. Businesses, do businesses have a target threshold for self-regulation? They don't. If it's like the lyric standard or whatever, they don't know what point to target for self-regulation. Nor do, and I'm just skipping ahead, whereas we do have the bylaws definition, we get a better sense of it, and I think we have a clear target if we use the enhanced definition. Same for residents and their reporting. You know, without a target threshold, things are up in the air. For enforcement, currently, it's kind of like they have two different plainly audible standards. They have the one in the bylaw, and they have the one in the entertainment license. I would think that I'm not sure, but I would think the enforcement would be simplified if we had the definition, either any kind of definition. This is a big one. Residents aren't able to enjoy their homes. This hasn't been brought out enough, and especially for the newer people here. People are actually not just losing enjoyment of their homes, but they're being forced out. So people at 43C Street have stopped using their homes. They stopped coming down, the Vranuses. There's their summer home. They put tons of money into it, tons of hours. They're being driven out. Same with the Gray Gull. Those people have stopped doing business there. They're
I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
Keep going.
they've stopped using one of the buildings on the lot. We saw this in letters that they both sent us, and they stopped using part of the remaining building. The people at 459, 549, behind the hot stove, they call up all the time because they're feeling the pressure. They're feeling pushed out. And my wife and I were feeling pushed out in 2018. We got lucky because the minnows stopped, but if they come back on and there's no limit, we're going to feel pushed out again. So I just want to bring that up so that people are aware that it's more than just a quality of life thing. It's staying in Harwich thing. The original intent of the 2016 public hearing would be honored. It wouldn't be honored if we leave it undefined. It would be honored with any definition, the bylaws definition, and the enhanced definition is effectively the bylaws definition. They put in 3 sessions in the public hearing, and they, with a clerical error, everything was kind of wiped out. So, is it fair for all? I don't think leaving it undefined is fair for residents. I think the bylaws definition is fair to all. I think there's a smaller check over here in the enhanced definition, slightly less fair to businesses. There's a bigger more restrictions for businesses with the enhanced definition. Is it workable for businesses? Yeah, if you leave it undefined, the businesses can work it out easy. They don't have to change anything. The volume levels would be unchanged. If we use the bylaws definition, there would be some restrictions, but it'd still be workable. Harwich licenses will still, even with that change, will still be the most generous. Outdoor music scene will still be the most extensive anywhere around, up and down the Cape, probably in New England. Same goes for the enhanced definition. We'd have tighter restrictions, but it'll still be the biggest outdoor music scene around. And finally, the committee does its job. I don't think we're doing our job if we leave it undefined. That's my opinion. I think we're expected to identify the problems and come up with solutions, and we know there's a problem. I think we know it's a problem, so. Those are our three choices.
Good job.
That's a good job, Bob.
Yeah.
That's
Very
fantastic.
good.
Yeah,
A lot of work on that.
yeah.
Definitely.
Well, we have to get this down to the Taylors, because I don't know if they're around. We
The
can
Powells?
email- I mean, the Powells, yeah, you know what I meant. So we can email
I
it down
can
to the,
Yeah, I can email it around.
yeah, just to let them know, you know, what the gist of this is.
Okay.
Because they'll have to need their input also.
Okay.
And you can
Absolutely.
get it to Griff and Judd.
For sure.
Right?
Now, do you want to get input from residents as well?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. we will.
But keep in mind, we have to have this done by the 31st. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've got input, but we have to,
Right, it'd be good to get responses back. so we
Responses.
could Just have something for next week.
yeah,
For next week?
yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah.
That'd be a quick turnaround. But-
I think
very
it's
quick.
only
That's what I mean. We
I
got
mean,
really-
it's two parties we're dealing with for businesses, really. And maybe the
I,
minnow, I mean, we can have them respond, you know, Tony and.
Tony, yeah?
If I can have
Could
this
you-
emailed to me?
Sure. Can I email to everybody?
Yes.
Sure.
Please.
Yeah, I think any business that
Mhm.
in Harwichport that has a entertainment
Well, that's what
license.
that's what
Yeah.
I'll do. I'll send it out, but if I could have it emailed, so I'll just scan it, that'd be great.
I still have your email address at the manage.
That'd be great.
Okay.
I was at the hearing today, as was Angela,
Mm-hmm.
and over, we kept hearing, we need a better definition for plainly audible. What we have now doesn't work for the police.
How many violations were there?
Oh, we dealt with 3 violations today.
Right, but in total there were,
18?
18 for the summer.
no, for the, who had the hearing today?
The hearing was Ember today.
Okay.
3
they had-
violations.
But in total for the summer they had,
18.
they had eight.
No, it's
18
total,
No,
total.
no,
I
they-
think
They didn't have 18 violations.
No, no, no,
I
no,
don't
no, they
remember.
didn't.
No, I don't remember
It
how
was-
many they had.
It was,
8 for
what's-
the year.
Eight for,
Eight-
okay, 8 for the year. So you can't say it's not working. They got 8 violations. I get back to the
Well-
same thing.
I heard over and over from the police,
Mhm,
from the attorneys, we need a better definition of plainly audible. And that's why this committee was formed, to come up with a better definition of plainly audible. It makes it easier for the businesses to know how to turn their music down. It's too loud. And it,
But under these definitions, I'll call them what they are. It's, you can hear it. That's what it is. That's the definition. It's the, can you hear it standard. If I'm sitting at my house over 150 feet away and I can hear it, that's it. That's all I need to do, is just
Whatever.
hear it. No, it's true.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
true. Yeah,
discussing.
but they're-
That's all. I mean, I don't begrudge them. I know they can hear it.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear it.
then,
I understand.
yeah.
I will say, what came out of the hearing, though, also is that they called it, that's actually, it's called the music shell. It's what Judd, the little structure that they put up at Ember. After they put that up, there was 1 violation in October. So maybe that helped, I don't know. But you said that the speakers are outside of it? Is that what you?
I believe the speakers are outside of that shell, that the musicians are in the shell, and the speakers might be scattered around.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't.
Everything is.
Inside?
Yes, it's a pretty
It's
large.
self-contained?
In the
Okay.
shell?
Yes, it's
Okay.
a pretty large.
Right, structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I couldn't remember, you know. But, yeah, there was some frustration with the plain audible
Yeah.
and, you know, what the officers think, and it was very subjective. It is subjective. What came out is like one officer might think, correct me if I'm wrong, that they can hear it, someone else is not, and it was just, it's frustrating for both sides.
Yeah.
Which is what I really got on it. Yeah.
That's what- Yeah.
Right. Yes, yes, but, I mean, I might hear something, you might not, right. And so we'll get this out to everybody, if we can,
Another thing we
Okay, if
might
we,
think,
oh, go ahead. Sorry, you started first.
I was just going to say, maybe we should also consider scrapping the lyrics test. Because I think that's a big part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should scrap the lyrics test.
Okay.
Because I think it's a
Oh, like if you could hear the lyrics?
Yeah, we were making that part of the test.
And that did come up at the hearing because the police officer might say, well, there's words, but I don't know the song, so I can't tell you what the words are because I don't know the
I
song.
think that,
And having something like this where you don't have the lyrics, I think is gonna be a lot easier too.
so, one thought I had, we can work it out later, but this enhanced definition seemed like it was, people were bucking against it because it's a little too tight. The middle one, which is just, if we could also say, in addition to that, we don't have the lyrics test, maybe it's not in the definition, maybe it's just a memo to the police, or however you guys want to do it. I think that'd be spot on. I think it would help the residents, give them some assurance. I think it gets rid of a difficult definition, and I think it still leaves a little more leeway for the police to use judgment and, try to do the peacekeeping that they do.
Right.
So you're saying to send this more enhanced version of the memo, but not part of
No,
the
no,
definition?
no, just,
Sorry.
no, I'm sorry. This is just on and on and on, and I was getting negative feedback on it last time.
Right.
So, this one, and we say additionally, let's recommend that we no longer use the lyrics test,
Oh, I see.
Oh.
just the
Sorry.
lyrics test.
Got it.
And then, I think residents can be pretty happy with that, and I think the lyrics test is tough for everybody.
I mean, under the bylaw, it doesn't matter if you can hear it, it's gonna be a
Doesn't- right.
violation anyway.
The one in the middle is the
Right.
definition that we have in the noise bylaw now.
Correct.
So it actually, it's the definition of plainly audible in the noise bylaw that by mistake was left out of the entertainment license.
Do we know it was a mistake?
Yeah, we do. If you look
I
at
have
the
to assume,
216
yeah.
hearings,
Yeah,
it was an error. So much as last week I liked the one on the right, I believe in compromise, or there was a term last week said, let's start with baby steps. By recommending the one in the middle, all we're doing is asking the Board of Selectmen to put their existing plainly audible definition into the entertainment license. It's not asking them to come up with a different one. It's the one that they already have.
Right.
So I can't see how any business or any resident can not agree that, let's just keep, let's just put that definition in the second place. We can see how it works for this year.
I
If
can't
we
believe they
need-
didn't correct this error. I mean, I know that's just thinking
Yeah.
out loud, it's kind of odd.
Well, I don't
It's
think
been
we picked up on it until
so
we started.
contentious,
reading.
yeah.
I don't think it was picked up on.
Hmm,
I mean,
interesting.
And if we want to wait for input and vote on it next week,
Oh, yeah.
I think
we
that's a
do.
really good idea, but even if there might be some people who want us to leave it undefined, there might be some people who want us to make it stricter, but I think a compromise in the middle is a good compromise.
So I put a question
So-
mark, because I wasn't sure how what we wanted to vote on or not, so I
Yeah.
kind of left it
Yeah.
open-ended
Yeah.
for everything.
Yeah.
So I think, well,
Okay,
I
so,
think,
question, we have a 150-foot limit, a property line limit. So this doesn't address the gray gull like you want, or
well, in a way it
hot
does.
stove, 43, I don't know where 43 C Street is, it's the one right, the first one on the left there, I'm not sure it is, but, so, that was an issue. So if a property straddles the line, the area, we could go to what I suggested before was inside the commercial district, you're fine, or 150 feet from the property line, whichever more. Because I don't think there's any property lines in both districts, the commercial overlay district. It doesn't really do anything, I don't know what it does, but it gets the properties out there on both sides. One property probably.
So, I just lost my brain cramp. Yeah, I think it actually does help those people, because if the volume is kept to this, whatever, the 150-foot volume, it's going to be quieter for them. And I think Fran made the point last week that if it's generally quieter, people aren't going to be calling all the time. and I know that was the case for myself. We called a ton in 2018, but it's generally quieter in 2019, and we get bothered a few times
Yeah.
that we didn't call,
Yeah.
because it wasn't like constant.
Mhm.
And I think that the same thing is going to happen in that tight area. Another point is, it came in Bob Nickerson's memo that he read. He said that he thinks that, and I don't disagree with him, he thinks that if anywhere on your property is within the 100, is beyond the 150, then that person has a right to make the call.
Exactly.
So-
That's my point. It's
Okay,
not
so
right.
then
I
you
don't-
and Bob Nickerson are total agreement?
Yeah, no, I'm not in agreement.
Oh, total
Because I don't think that
disagreement.
should be the case. If somebody buys a property in the middle of the commercial district,
Okay,
in
so-
the middle of a commercial condo development, then that's, and then they can come in and just complain. I mean,
Well, in the case...
Because they straddle-
in the case
One at
that-
a time.
Sorry.
yeah. that's-
Finish your thought, and then the other.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We have to
Yeah.
behave.
I don't know, that's just something I'm throwing out. I'm not saying, it's just something.
So what happens if these houses have been there for 100, 150, 200 years, and then you put a commercial overlay district on top of them, which is exactly what we did. So there's the other side of that argument.
Yeah.
The house was there before it was commercial.
And there's a reason why it was so cheap to buy.
Well, they probably owned those homes for a long time.
I mean, it
don't
it
know if
was,
they were
I know
cheap
the house,
or-
it
or
was
they
very
weren't
cheap.
But there's plenty
You
of
move that house
houses.
100 yards, it's worth 3 times as much money.
So, those 3 houses, they all, the Reynoses purchased their house in like 10 years ago.
I don't know who
The
that
people,
is.
they're on 43C, bought their house like 10 years ago. The one behind the hot stove was like 7 years ago. And the Grey Gull has been there since '82. So,
They can't have people because they're condemned. They were condemned.
I actually stayed there once. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Moody's King Shop.
That's beyond that's not.
It's beyond our scope, and they're within the commercial
that's all.
overlay, and
All right.
that's beyond our
That was-
scope.
I do have a comment about the 150.
Yeah.
That came up, I've been to both of the hearings now for Ember's violations. The 150 foot comes up over and over. How do you, and it's, I don't know how we can fix it, because somebody makes a phone call. The officer might drive by Ember, that's loud, then go to the location, and the first one that was discussed today was the corner of Freeman and Pleasant. That's way
Oh,
over,
yeah.
that's way over 150 feet.
Of course it is, yeah, I agree. No problem.
The attorney wouldn't back off, he kept asking, how do you know you're over 150 feet?
Well,
Did
that's-
you measure it?
that's an
You know, I
attorney
mean, come
for
on,
you, yeah.
you know, but the
But that's over
policeman
150
is sitting,
feet.
of
That's
course
not
it's
an issue,
over.
yeah.
We know that's over. There was another one that was,
But that all took place in the hearing today. Like,
yeah,
that
but
really
these
doesn't
people
have
weren't,
anything to do with
no, it
it.
has to do with the 150 foot, and if there's a way of addressing the 150 foot.
In what way? Where are you leading with this?
Well, I'm not sure, what we should do with that 150 foot. Or by turning the music down, do we just keep it and hope that if the music's down, so we don't have police officers having to go back and Google Earth, and was I 150 feet, is it a violation or not? Is a house on Woodland Road 150 feet from Ember, where there was another complaint? Of course it is, but we're asking the police to do what? To prove that it's over 150 feet. They have to go back, they have to Google Earth it, they have to get out the map, they have to prove, yes, you are in violation.
But the commercial overlay itself says it's 200 feet, so it's pretty easy.
So
to-
maybe it's just an
just
attorney
read it.
trying to give the police chief a tough time.
Yeah, it is.
Not the police chief, the officer, but it's too bad that happens.
So, all this was talked through in 2016, extensively. You were there, I saw you in the background.
Oh,
Back with Jeremy.
Oh.
Yeah, he was doing the talking. And you were there and he was there, and it was argued over extensively, and the thing was made. They didn't look at making a commercial district or anything like that. That would be a huge undertaking for us to even think about in this committee, and it would be a huge thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the,
We had that map, I mean, it was right there.
it would just, it
Okay.
would be
Okay.
a huge can of worms for us to look in. Just one issue. But all this was debated really thoroughly. Some residents think not thoroughly enough. But it was all hashed out way back.
Oh, no, I wasn't around for that.
You spoke at it.
Oh, I spoke at it? Oh, one of the hearings?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I thought you said there was a committee or something.
No, no, no.
Oh, okay. Where they came
So,
up
yeah,
with
so,
100.
yeah, so it was all hashed
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
And the rules that they came up with are the rules they came up with. And there was a mistake, there was a
Okay.
clerical error, and that's partly led to some of the problem. It's not the whole reason, I mean,
Okay.
people are, you know, and there have been other meetings I've seen videos of where there's, people get pretty impassioned.
Oh, for sure.
And, so I think we have adequate guidelines. It's, you know, what we do with them, how we, playing the audible is a good thing to work on. It's the key for this problem.
Okay. We'll send it out to businesses, get some feedback from residents, and go from there. 150 feet,
We leave.
we leave it
We
alone.
leave it alone. Yeah.
We leave that alone. And I think...
There's one thing on the
Hmm?
150 feet that's unclear. 150 feet from where to where?
I believe
Property
it's,
line.
yeah, your
Or the
property
source
line. I
of
read
the
Or
noise.
the source of the noise.
Whichever's further, but the property lines,
Mhm.
they're gonna be the distance.
The language in there is really bad.
Yeah, but that's not up to us to change.
Right, it's not, because that also, when you do this, guess what, guys, you're going to town meeting with this.
Yeah.
So,
Not for the bylaw. We're not talking about the bylaw.
that's what I was just looking at, to see what it said. But if you're gonna get ready to go change that
No,
stuff.
no, we aren't talking about changing that. We're talking
Never
about
mind,
changing
I'm
the
gonna shut
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
No.
yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're set on that for right now, correct? Any more comments?
Do you want to comment from the police chief on
Yeah.
this?
Would you like to comment?
Sure.
Then maybe he can go home.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
I know plainly audible has been an issue, and I tend to agree that I think the overall intent when we put that, we suggested it go into the regulation. You understand where all this came from, right? That initially the entertainment licenses, including outside entertainment licenses, said noise not to exceed the premises.
Right.
Which is absurd, right? Because
Mhm.
that's patently impossible to meet. So there was a discussion, what do we do about this? Because we're setting the businesses up for failure. You look at the anti-noise bylaw, and it's got plainly audible beyond 150 feet. That's why that was chosen. So I think if you look at the intent of that, you're pulling it out of the bylaw, yes, I would agree, the language should probably be the same. Now, let me just ask the group something. So we changed the definition of plainly audible. How is that going to increase compliance? Because I see it right now, and it was clear today in the hearing, it's a compliance issue,
Mhm.
isn't it? How
Yes,
do you increase
absolutely.
compliance? How is that done? Is it done by changing the definition of plainly audible? Or how is it done? How do you force, because that's basically what
Mhm.
we're looking at, right?
Mhm.
Compliance.
That was the whole purpose of speeding up the
Violation.
stick.
Violation.
So
Violation.
the
How's
stick,
that going to?
you know, well, hopefully if you hit them hard enough and often enough, they're
I
going to.
agree with you, hard enough.
Yeah.
So there
Mhm.
hasn't
Yeah.
been any discussion around the table about the level of disciplinary action that
We have,
was
yeah.
taken, right?
Nope.
There
we
was
have-
last week.
Yeah, we have two-tier violations with,
With-
Ramifications,
And
yep.
that's going to include more
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
the discipline is?
yes.
That's why we're trying to move away from plainly audible and get onto that, because they're...
Yeah, we're gonna discuss
Because,
that.
I mean,
I agree
that's
with
my
you.
take on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a law enforcement person,
Mhm.
and seeing what my officers have to go through, like at hearings today, and every summer night on the street, when these calls are coming in, it's very frustrating for them if all this is undertaken, right, and there's still no compliance.
Right. Mm-hmm. I agree.
were you here last week? And I think maybe we can switch the order of the agenda.
That's fine.
And get around to it when we discussed, it was Bob Nickerson that had the idea of the two-tier for violations. And what we proposed was something along the lines of, the quick process would be the establishment, if they're told by the police they're in violation, and they agree, yes, okay, I'm in a violation, we will take the quick.
And what's the sanction for that?
The quick one would be, and this was just an example I gave out, and what I have here I don't think is the same one I even read last week. First violation, they get a warning. Second violation, a 1-day suspension of entertainment within 7 days of the violation. The third violation, a 2-day entertainment suspension within 7 days of the violation. Fourth violation might be a 3-day suspension within 7 days. Fifth violation, 1 week. Sixth violation, automatic suspension of their entertainment license. And then so in other words, they're immediately going to be shut, they're going to lose entertainment license for a day if they continue to violate. I would hope that would have them turn their music down so they can keep operating. If they want to go the hearing route, that can be can be shortened. We've been told from what it is right now. The first violation would be a warning, second violation, and it would be a monetary. This was just written down. $500, third $1,000, fourth $2,000, fifth $4,000, sixth automatic suspension of entertainment license.
Yeah, I don't agree with monetary.
Yeah.
From the beginning, my opinion has always been that the action should be taken against the license.
Against the license. So if we did.
The license is monetary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
that's
mean,
for sure.
We have a business claiming they're maybe looking at upwards of 30,000 plus because of the sanctions that have already been put in place against them. So if that's the case, then that's a lot more than what you're talking already. So I think, putting in monetary fines, we could do monetary fines right now because the way the bylaw is worded, if it's a violation of the entertainment license regulation, it's also a violation of the bylaw. But it's always been my opinion that it should be action taken on the license, entertainment license and/or liquor license, if it gets bad.
So then
That's where the compliance gets forced.
So then if they wanted to go the hearing route, it would be even more severe penalty towards the entertainment license than the quick one. That makes a lot of sense to me, yeah.
Are the businesses in support of the rapid, accept the violation without a hearing? Because there may be a due process issue here.
Well, they have an option.
They would have
don't
an option.
to-
I would say it would just have to get vetted through legal first. That would be my first blush at.
Yeah.
But are the businesses in support of the two-tier?
This just got discussed last week.
For the first
Yeah, I don't think
time.
any are really aware.
Yeah.
Well, if they're not supportive of it, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna get past the Board of Selectmen, my suggestion would just to recommend that the sanctions be a lot stiffer at the hearing level.
And I think too, and I mentioned this the other day, things have transitioned in town, and there are new people that are doing the things. I think they also need to give it a shot. And I don't know how today went. I didn't go. I was stuck in my office. But I think we need to give the process, as we're doing with someone that we have a chance.
I agree. What I got out also is that there was such inconsistency with the prior
Exactly.
people. So the business at hand today, their feelings are getting being hit very hard, but in years prior, not so much. It didn't make any sense, did it, Frank? It was like,
I don't know what violations in years prior even
But-
have been.
yeah, I mean,
Well,
but
there have been hearings in the past,
Yeah.
but I think.
I don't know what the penalties have been in past
the
years.
complaint was like, they're getting treated very unfairly, their feeling. So I think if we can give a consistent recommendation, like, you're found guilty of this violation on this date, then the sanction should be the same for Ember, Perks,
Every business, yeah.
everybody,
Everybody,
right?
all businesses.
Right, exactly,
yeah.
but it doesn't seem like there's any rhyme or reason right now.
Well,
We
I
haven't got
think,
a new
I
administration.
think we were left with what was going on, and just, today's a new day, or tomorrow's a new
Mhm.
day, and I think whatever the Board of Selectmen decide, is gonna be the guidelines for the hearing officer, whoever it's going to be, and they mentioned it the other night, it could in fact even be the Board of Selectmen themselves.
Mhm.
So, until that piece is decided, I think, all we can do is just say, okay, this is what we've vetted through, the businesses, and send it, as Chief reminded us, send it to legal, and then, in here, and the selectmen have to decide, but.
Sure.
Yeah, I believe Mr. Clark was working, or started to work on that. So, but,
That's what I
but-
heard,
but-
yeah,
but
yeah.
Wouldn't that be something that, Chief, you would want to work with the new town admin?
Two-tier approach.
Yeah, if it's viable, would it be something that you and the town admin would,
Yeah, I
Work
don't
on-
mind having input on it.
because it doesn't sound like I'm not sure that we are the right people to do it.
No, it's not our job.
Not our job.
It'd be a recommendation.
It's a recommendation.
Like you
The
just-
general purpose, like
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
we
an
can say,
idea.
for example, here are some things you could consider. You know,
I think it would help the businesses also, because, your violation is months ago, and now you're, you're in a new year, and you're just now having a hearing.
When, and I'm not a business owner, but we've got a business person here, if you know you're gonna have a violation, would you want to have to pay out of your pocket the following year? Or would you want it to be over and done with, let's get on? How would,
Well,
I think you should be allowed a hearing simply because you might feel that you weren't in violation.
and if you,
Yeah,
could- and so therefore you could
Mhm.
take that route?
Yeah, I would always want the option of having.
You
a
have,
hearing,
would
for
have
sure.
that option.
but I don't think, as I just stated, this isn't going to be, so say XYZ restaurant has a violation this May 31st. It's not gonna take 4 months, 5 months to do this. Everyone's learned from what transpired last year. 2020 is a new year. Everyone is on the same page of wanting now a tighter way of handling this. So the business isn't gonna have a choice of whether or not their hearing is in 8 months, because that's not what anyone really wants.
Yeah.
So we need to get that out of here. It's done. It was a hiccup, now we've remedied it and move forward.
But what's the quickest, given the process that has to take place, what is the quickest?
That's what the town administrator and the selectmen and the police have to come up with for their guidelines. If, say, my business gets a violation on Friday, is the guidelines now, and Mr. McCaskill, I believe, said it the other night, I'm not positive, but I believe he mentioned it the other night. Then, say I get it on Friday, on Monday, all the paperwork's into the town administrator or to the police, they document it, do their thing, it then goes here, the business gets it, and then if they get another one, then all right, then they have the hearing, or whatever. But they come up with the little calendar of what the timeline's gonna be. It's gonna be a new thing, just like when you're doing an
But we don't know yet what,
No.
if that's gonna be 4 weeks or 6 weeks. I mean, we know it's not gonna be 8 months,
Well,
but
they
we
haven't
don't
done
know.
it yet, so.
We don't know what it's
No.
gonna be.
They're in, right now, they're in the midst of budget and everything else, but it's on, and he mentioned it. So they all know that it has to be done, it's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
we can say, all right, we feel that the first violation, you need to know in a week. The second violation,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to sit here and come up with a calendar, then we come up with a calendar, but that, again, this is just going to be the recommendation. They need to all three get together and
Yeah.
decide.
Now, another thing is the businesses have to, when they have their hearing, they hire an attorney. there's a cost to the business for having the hearing. And I think that's, might be one of the reasons that Bob Nickerson said, okay, I know I was in violation. I want a much less, I'll take a penalty now, so I don't have to hire an attorney, and I don't have to go through the hearing process. So I think the two-tier could work, and I would like to think that we could agree in recommending a two-tier system of penalties to the Board of Selectmen.
Mhm.
I agree.
I agree.
The only problem I have
I think it's a good idea. I
Is-
really do.
I think if a business owner chooses to go to a hearing and they lose, their penalty shouldn't be stiffer. You know, they shouldn't, because they lost, because they thought they were not in violation, the penalty should be the same. You know, because they're still paying an attorney, they think that they're not in violation, but there shouldn't be two levels of punishment. You know, if you take the sanction immediately and you get suspended for, you know, within 5, whatever it is, you lose the entertainment for that day. If you choose to go to a hearing, I don't think that you should, if you lose your hearing, the sanction shouldn't be 2 days. It should be the same. That's my view. That's my opinion.
And I look
Yeah.
at it a little bit
Yeah. Yeah.
differently from you,
Mhm.
yeah.
So yeah, I look at, I don't see it that same way either. We need an incentive for people to do it quickly. That's
Mhm.
number one. And it's basically plea bargaining, right? Isn't that what plea bargaining is? It's
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
you take a lesser hit in order to save court costs, in order to save, you know, the town, and the police and everyone, all the expense of going to these meetings. And for doing that, you get a reduced sentence.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't know
all.
what the legal ramifications, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No,
interrupt
go
you.
ahead.
If there are legal ramifications, if that is more of a question for an attorney to see if you
For sure.
can do that.
Yeah.
I don't even think.
Yeah.
I think Bob Nickerson spoke with, we're all talking about you, Bob, so. So he spoke with the new town admin, and he told, as I recall you telling me, that the town admin thought it was okay. So it's at least partially okay.
Yeah,
It's-
I mean,
it's
it's just my
promising.
opinion.
It's promising, but we
Mhm.
all definitely should get it if it's legal.
It's just, you know, if it's hanging over your head, if you think you're truly innocent, that you didn't make any violation, and at the hearing you're found guilty,
That's a good point,
it,
though.
you know, I mean, and you still could be, look at all, you still could be innocent, but, you know, you're still found guilty. I just don't think you should have a higher penalty.
That's true, doubling someone's penalty just because they think they're innocent
Mhm.
and they're trying to wage that argument. I mean, they're still gonna be penalized if they're wrong.
Mhm.
They still,
That's-
if it's one day without music, then.
Yeah, I mean, they know
Because what
going
other option
in.
do they have to contest, you know?
That's a right that every person shares.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
The right to attorney, or the right to
Mhm.
challenge it.
How many,
So how can we have plea bargaining? Why is plea
Yeah.
bargaining such a thing?
Well, sometimes you go plea bargaining for a lesser offense, or a
That's what-
lesser
that's what this would be.
penalty.
that's
Yeah,
what it
this
would
would
be.
be. Rather,
Penalty.
that's
Well,
what-
no, I'm sorry. I'm saying if they go, the purpose of going to contest it and to have the hearing would be that part, that's what I was trying to say in terms of that's their chance to argue that this didn't happen, or
So
there
if
would
they-
be a
so-
lesser.
Yeah, so if they think they have a good enough case.
Right.
Then they can go there and get it waived, right?
But they might not, I don't know. I mean.
So, but
But in a way, they
have to
are
know.
getting punished. If they were wrong in the hearing, you know, they receive a penalty, wouldn't the penalty be all the money they spent plus not having
Mhm.
music?
Yes.
Kind of double.
Well,
up on that.
depends how much money they spend. Do they all go with lawyers? Because I've been to a hearing where they didn't use a lawyer.
I don't know. I mean, I really
I
kinda,
guess,
yeah.
can I
Yeah,
ask
yeah.
a question? Make them wake up again. How many violations, hearings ended up not being true violations when they had the hearings this year?
This year, none.
None, okay.
There was one in either 2017 or 18. Turks had a hearing that resulted in no discipline.
So it can happen.
But all the ones this year were violations?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So was there no discipline because, do you recall the circumstances?
Yeah, it's in the terms of the town administrator, he felt that it was a technical glitch and didn't find enough to find a violation.
Okay. Yeah.
It all comes down to this weight of the evidence, how it's
Yeah.
determined by the hearing officer.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
I guess you are, you're getting your time out of your day, money spent on an attorney. If you're gonna go that route, I would assume you'd have an attorney, I guess.
Well, how about flipping it? Instead of having a loss of, and I know this is against what Chief is saying, but, you know, if you want the short route, pay money. And it doesn't have to be big money. And just, you know, get to a certain point and you admit it, and then you've gotten to 5 infractions, time to get serious. And then maybe there's a suspension at that point.
Mhm.
Or maybe there's some more serious thing. One of the things I don't like the idea of taking money away from the businesses. I don't like the way of taking time from their businesses. I like the idea of somehow figuring out a way to get them to comply, other than just penalties. And some of that is to be constructive when you get to these sessions, figure out a way to point the speakers differently, if that's what's required, or house systems, though I guess that's not a doable thing, or whatever it is, put in the noise mitigation. But if you get to like the 6th violation, however they get there, it's time to take corrective measures. And that's kind of what happens in an ad hoc fashion down at the Claddagh, my understanding, at the Claddagh and the Irish Pub. Isn't that what happened in the past? They would go down and they'd make trouble, they get a bunch of violations, and then the selectmen get up in front, they go before the selectmen say, you gotta do this, that, and the other, you gotta keep the windows shut, and you can't open the doors, and you gotta have air conditioning, that kind of thing.
Going on, yeah.
So, and they did the same at the Claddagh. And so maybe instituting a policy of correction as we go, because we saw with the Nantucket licenses, many of them had conditions on speaker placement and that kind of thing. And we don't want to say that to begin with, but if we get to a certain point, yeah, maybe it's time. So I like the idea of making it constructive. I don't want to take their money. I don't want to take their business. I want to get them. I want to be constructive and figure out a way for them to comply. So that's a thought.
Do you have any weigh in on this? Being important member and all that?
Personally, I do have some feelings, but I don't really think I want to weigh in for
Okay,
both
that's fine.
businesses at this time. I'd rather sink in on it, let it sink.
Okay. All right.
So we're not making progress with this.
Yeah,
one.
we are.
Are we?
I thought
Well-
we did.
I felt like it's.
As,
I
you
like
know, the
Fran's
question-
2-tier in what you.
Bob's 2-tier.
Well, okay, Bob's 2-tier thing, and what you came with the quick violations, what to do.
Did we ever
One
get a-
night, 2 nights, gone, 3 nights. I don't know, maybe suspension of license, not loss of license. Because it's, I mean, it's, because I'm looking back again, if you separate Main Street, you know, East End, West End. West End's pretty good, you know, East End wasn't so good last year, or they just have, you know, whatever, it's just the acoustics there is worse, because it's open, as opposed to the other 2 places, you know? So, they did they did all right, and they have been doing all right, you know, you used to complain, and then they kind of fixed it, you complained enough, the minnow just stopped doing it completely, that's what happened there. Because of the complaints, so they knew they were going to get in trouble, so they just shut music off completely, which was good, it worked, you know, so.
Well,
It wasn't good for either of us.
No, it wasn't good for either of you, but they could have elected to turn it down and gone just acoustic or something, but they decided just not to deal with it. They didn't want to deal with the problem.
they actually did have acoustic.
Okay, well, just, they have bad acoustics there too, it just carries, you know, because it's open in the back, you know. If they put some soundproofing in the back wall or something, it will work. I forgot where I was going with this, so.
Well, what you like, but
But I
to
liked
answer
about the
chief's-
two-tier.
To answer the chief's question, what have we done to get businesses to turn the volume down? What have we done to get, because
Are you gonna say all businesses, you're gonna say?
outside
certain business?
entertainment,
I think there's two at the East End, I mean, West End have done very well. Port had no violations.
Well, you know,
Perks had one in
Yeah.
thing, but if you go to the, I can hear it standard, well, yeah, they're gonna be shut down.
I think the people at 43C weren't there this last summer.
Well, I don't know who they are,
Yeah.
what they do, that's not my job to do that. I'm
But
just
that's why
looking
there
at-
may not have been some complaints, that people don't like
Well,
complaining.
you can't make assumptions like that.
No, you're right, I'm sorry.
And also, this is, you know, the Harwich Noise Committee. It's not a certain business noise committee. We're coming up with something to present for everyone. Like, I think the
Right.
focus is on the grand picture, not one street, one area. It's the whole thing. I think the way that you get businesses to comply, which personally I think they are, is, yeah, you have a clear definition of plainly audible. I think the chief made a good point that I don't think like just making up a monetary number, like the monetary effect of maybe not having a certain musician could be, one night could be far greater than just slapping a fine on them or whatever. I think, you know, you're not getting a business to say, yes, I'm turning it down, but you're doing something. I think we're definitely doing something.
So that sounds like, so try the two-tier
I
without
definitely
the,
think so.
without the monetary.
Yeah. Yeah, $500, it's nothing.
there's nothing.
It's a lot of paperwork too.
Yeah.
For people.
If I was being nice, I mean, you could start it at 5,000 if you wanted to. You can, you know, make it, you know, if the violation hurts, businesses are not gonna violate.
And we really have to make sure that.
They are not, if it
Yeah,
hurts.
that it's a consistent, you know, if they decide to go to a hearing that, you know, it's consistent for all businesses and not one violation, one type of violation for one business, another for
Yeah.
another. The inconsistencies have got
Yeah.
to stop.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so are those inconsistencies based on past history?
So, but
So-
we're gonna
so-
put down our recommendation, it should be in there, you
Right, it
know,
should-
and it
past
came up
history-
at the hearing.
So the previous year's history should apply it, right? Or it may-
We're learning from history, is how I'd like to say. We're
Okay.
learning from the past, because it's not right if someone, you know, has a violation and they get a heavier hand than another place.
No, my question is, if business X has a bunch of trouble in 2020, in 2021, it has additional trouble, does that 2020 history apply to the 2021 history?
I
Is
don't
it,
know.
because isn't that what might have
Yeah, we'd have
been
to-
happening?
Yeah, I mean, I know there was one business in town that's no longer in business, the old Clatta, that it was continuous.
Yeah, it just-
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that the businesses that exist now that have outdoor entertainment are that type of business.
No.
They seem to be very much aware of what's going on and, you know, really trying to do some self-policing. I mean, the Clatta just was kind of out of control. Am I right on that, Chief? The Clatta was kind of crazy
Yeah,
town for a while.
town.
Yeah,
They were.
It was crazy,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, they were.
I wouldn't go there. It was like too nuts.
I don't know if I was born.
Oh, very nice, very nice. All right, so can we come up with some, I'll send out the email, and then we can take a look at the two-tier and then maybe clean it up or change whatever we want to change or keep, I don't know, whatever you guys want to do, but let's get some input from everybody.
Yeah, if we could see it, that'd be great.
I'll send it to everybody. It's what you sent me.
Okay, well, yeah, but now we just have decided that we don't want to do the monetary.
Well, we'll just change
We'll
that
just
up.
change-
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, just,
The monetary, I
If you
didn't
send
see
it
it, I
out
thought,
to-
I
I
didn't see
sent
the
it,
monetary.
I
Yeah.
sent it to, yeah.
then everybody can put in their own ideas.
I didn't,
Right.
I'm sorry, but I didn't see what she had said. I thought I was talking about what she did last week.
That's what I sent.
Yeah, that's what you sent me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll send it out.
There was a monetary in there?
Yes.
But we're gonna switch it up.
Yeah.
Everybody put their own ideas and just,
Mhm.
and then we can,
And I think, you know.
and
do
get
we
it to
need-
me kind of early, because then I can kind of correlate it a little bit and say, this is the way the board seems to be, the committee seems to be leaning, or not, or, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I guess I even wonder if we need to do that, or if we just tell this, we recommend to the Board of Selectmen that they do that, because I don't feel that I can come up with the right figures either in terms of number of days or whatever. I
Well,
suppose we can
it's gonna
try.
be a suggestion
Are
and-
we allowed, but we're not allowed to email each other during the
No,
week.
she's
so we-
gonna
but
email
she's
it to
gonna
all.
email
Yeah.
it to all of us, because we haven't seen this.
Okay.
And it
I'll
was-
send
And
it
then we'll
out.
email her
Right,
back
because it was,
individually.
it was supposed to be part of the minutes, so
Mhm.
we need to see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then what I'll do is, once I get everything, I'll send an email out to everybody,
Okay,
and it's complicated.
okay.
And I want to hit reply all, and can't do it, and so.
And not to complicate things, but just with what you just said, should there also be some term within this two-tier process where if a business goes a certain period of time without any violations,
Oh,
that they
good.
don't
Like
go
that.
to like 7, like, or 8, if
Right,
they
right.
had a big enough gap where they
I
were
like that.
obeying?
Yeah, well, I think it
Good behavior.
resets every year.
Just like a driving.
It does
years,
reset every
right?
year?
It
Yeah.
resets
Oh,
every
okay.
year.
So
And,
that
but
would
the,
be-
the clatter was like a really,
So every year it was so
Crazy
bad
town,
that it
yeah.
didn't really matter. Gotcha.
you know, it was just awful.
Did
So
I
much.
not read in our bylaws somewhere that it's a violations are always over a 2-year period?
Is it 2 years?
I don't know. I didn't
We'll
read-
see.
I didn't see.
So,
Yeah,
But it does reset it. So it's not, it's not
is there
Oh,
something that?
continuous for years
But
and
maybe
years.
for entertainment can be yearly, yeah.
well, I don't know, if you get a bad egg. how do
Well,
you
a
do
bad egg, well, the bad egg does shine through on
Well,
you, yeah.
Under the violation tier here, they would lose their license by the time they became a bad egg. I would suppose.
Right,
Or suspended.
Yeah.
Right.
So how far into the tiers do you think we mock up? Like up to 10, and then at that point it's up to the board of, I'm just wondering where it stops.
I stopped, well, the thing that I
Mhm.
had, I stopped it at 7.
I think that's plenty.
Plenty.
Plenty. If you have 7
No, I know, I'm
violations,
just.
then, yeah,
Right.
And those are like real violations.
Right.
That's not,
phone calls, yeah.
all right.
Are we getting toward the end?
Yes, we are. Let's see. So everybody, we're all gonna put our heads together on that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You have additional elements of BOS report on the agenda.
Yeah, so we have decibel monitors, I think we wanted to talk about. What were the old, there were a few other
Light
ones.
monitors,
I didn't think we were telling the businesses what they had to do. I thought we were just
Well,
concentrating
no,
on.
I think that was one thing that I think was worthwhile. That's my opinion, I think that'd be helpful.
So we're gonna tell them that they have to install something, is that what you're saying?
Are there any towns in America that use decibel monitors
I wouldn't know.
for entertainment?
There are not that many that have outdoor entertainment, so.
So a lot of,
There's
yeah, where I grew-
thousands of towns that have outdoor entertainment. in-
down south,
Well,
yeah.
Oh.
So,
Well, where I grew up, yeah.
I
I
mean,
think in
I-
Boston, they use it on noise violations, they use decibel meters.
no, it's not decibel meters.
No?
It's not what,
It goes in there, in the business, right, and tells you.
monitor, yeah.
it's a decibel monitor for
Right.
like, yeah.
The attorney at the hearing today
Speaking of,
liked the idea of decibel.
yeah, speaking of which, I got an email from Bill Rockwood finally.
Yeah, you sent it to me, yeah.
Oh, he sent it to you, yeah.
Oh, he
So
sent it to me.
He's in town, I guess.
Yeah.
We can
'Cause
follow
you
that
can
up
get an
next
app.
year. Yeah,
You
yeah.
can download an app, and it could be just a suggestion, if you feel like your business needs to have one, you can, I don't know if that should be
Yeah,
mandatory.
I think what the chief originally proposed before, way back, was, those monitors you put up and you put a microphone somewhere on your perimeter or wherever it is, and it flashes at the performer. It says, time to turn it down. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how costly that is for business.
No, they're
but-
$100 on Amazon. I don't know how good they are, but I had a couple other things for new agenda items at some point. I'm not sure if I want to do them. So I had a couple enforcement concerns that I think Bob Nickerson's brought up before. measuring noise at the limits rather than to the complainant's location. And I don't know how we deal with this one, the problem of increased volumes in the last half hour. I really don't, maybe more proactive enforcement. And then, this is a question for the chief. You guys do training sessions every year, right? But they're not required? Pardon?
They're not what?
They're not required, right?
No.
Okay. Is it possible to require the businesses to attend the sessions, or do you think that would be helpful?
Yeah, I know, Yarmouth does that.
Yeah, so would that be helpful, do you think?
So say that a little, stretch.
So at the
Explain
beginning-
it a little bit more, because we do have something that we do with the businesses, so keep going with your thought, so we know what you're trying to say.
So my understanding, I went to one of the hearings last 2 years ago, and the business hadn't gone to a training session. I think the police hold.
What kind of training?
I wouldn't refer to it as training,
Is it our thing that we do with the
Yes.
ABCC? All right, so that, all right, so this
Okay,
is
so
a
I get-
different
yeah.
thing. So we require the businesses, and they send someone that either is their manager or the owner that comes. We do it with the ABCC, the chief, who else is in there? We had a fire chief, building, we had a number, and they are required to come to it. So we do something like that.
Because my recollection, I could be wrong, was that the chief looked through his notes and he tried to figure out if they were in attendance. They hadn't been. So I don't know.
There's no requirement.
They don't require them to come?
There's nothing in the regulation that requires a business to attend those. They're all invited.
Because I know we've tried really hard to get everybody there, and I know the last 2 years, we've been really fortunate with most of them being there.
So two things. One is, if they aren't required, I think it'd probably be a good thing to do, to make it required. And second, Bob Nickerson also made the suggestion somewhere along the line that we share the noise mitigation info that we've got, and that'd be a good place to do it. You know, that we have the different, whatever information we've got.
Oh,
So,
yeah, of
okay.
course.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I recollect you talking about noise last year.
Mhm,
It's-
we
it's
did.
br-
I
it's brought
brought up a
It's brought up
lot.
every time. And I think every business
Yeah.
is there,
Yeah.
I've seen.
I mean, I brought up the
like,
noise,
past
I brought
3
the
years or
signs
4
and
years
everything,
that you
so
guys have
I
done.
know that we have gone through it.
Definitely. But I think that's a good idea that whatever's talked about here should, or whatever's newly decided, everything.
Well, yeah, because by that meeting, that early May meeting that we do, by then, this will all be blessed.
Yep.
Or
So,
not.
well, the recommendation of what's gonna happen this year is gonna be,
Yep.
and so then, that's when myself and chief and the deputy chief will then bring up all those kind of things that'll be on the agenda.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my point is I don't
Yeah.
even know if we need to recommend they do that, because they do that.
Right.
anyway. At those meetings.
That's what we
100%.
specifically do.
So do we have time to squeeze in public comment?
Yeah, quickly.
Sure,
Sure, it'd be great.
absolutely.
Oh, wait, who's going to be the secretary for next?
Fran?
Who's up next?
I'm going to be calling in for the next meeting.
Did you get approval of
I
that?
talked to the Board of Selectmen about calling in and was told.
You're a devil.
Yeah. And I might be a little bit late calling in. I'm gonna, because Tuesday you're meeting at 5:30. I'll try hard.
It wasn't approved at their meeting, it wasn't on their agenda.
What?
I contacted our liaison, Mike McCaskill, and he told me what to do.
Okay, because normally they have to vote on it. 'Cause I know for the other boards that have to,
I don't know, he just told me what to do.
Okay.
So I assume we're
well,
okay.
you're lucky.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so you're going to call in?
I will
Here, oh,
call
Okay,
in.
all right,
I'll try to call in by 5:30.
okay. Okay.
And all I need to do is, like, if you can give me your phone number and have your phone here, we'll both be
You
on.
might want to find someone else who's going to have T-Mobile. It's not all that good.
You can call in on mine.
Okay.
I'll send it to you.
Just text me your
Yeah,
phone number.
That's fine. I always have my phone with me.
Okay.
I'll make sure it's charged. Okay, so,
I can be the secretary.
next, anyone get any correspondence?
We
got
have a
something-
memo. We have a memo from Bob. Do you want to speak to it?
I think most of you are there, and hopefully the other two guys got copies, right?
Oh, yeah, what's that? Oh, I didn't take a copy, I didn't know there was one there.
We have a
but-
copy.
Oh,
I got a
Oh, yeah,
copy.
I'll
I
take one,
handed it
sure.
out
Yeah.
the other night.
Sorry, I didn't know you were there.
You weren't there?
I was, no, I didn't know the copies were there.
Did Jake get?
Did you get one,
I
Heather?
did not.
I don't know, maybe I
No,
grabbed
because she
one.
wasn't there.
I didn't think so.
Oh, was this at the,
Oh,
I
okay.
handed it out to whoever was there.
It'll be in the minutes package anyway.
Mhm.
So, public comment yet, or are we still talking about that?
No, we're in public Are we on public comment now, Angela?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because we got our secretary picked up.
Okay, so just to kind of clarify where I was trying to go with this two-tier thing, I know you guys all have, everybody has a different opinion of what I was trying to get at. And not to say that my idea was the idea, but my thought was to try a less burden on the police. Fast track, they don't spend as much time, that's what's in that memo. And obviously I would want the chief to be happy with that, I'm not trying to force anything.
Right.
And then also, let's say Jake or whoever, right, they get this violation, they come in, the officer comes in and says, you know what, they already know what number it is or whatever, and they already know ahead. It's like, get a speeding ticket, you know ahead, your fine is $50, okay, so you know what you're up against. You know after the last violation what you're up against before you go to the next one, if you go fast track. I would encourage you not to have anything on your second track that goes to hearing. That should be up to the hearing person. That should be up to who's holding the hearing. I don't think it's your place as a committee or anybody's place to tell whoever the hearing officer is how he has to mitigate the answer. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not following that
So
entirely.
when you go to the hearing, the hearing officer goes, takes all this data in, and then they come up and say, okay, I'm recommending such and such. I don't think that's cookbook. I think there's too much mitigation of what's going on, there's dialogue with it both sides. You know, they state a case, and so, okay, we agree it's a violation, but it's not as strong of a violation as maybe something else. And then if you've gone and done boom, 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 they say, okay, I already know I'm gonna get 5 days off because I went the hearing route and I lost. See what I'm saying? I think that's separate. What I was trying to encourage was fast track, less cost, and a lesser sentence, so to speak. I came up with a whole plan. My wife said, it's none of your business, don't send it to anybody. It wasn't as strong as I think what's being said here. I was trying to give them more time, like 10 days or 2 weeks to fit the spot in and try to be a little bit softer and encourage them. What are we all trying to do? Well, I know as a resident, what we're trying to do is just get the noise a little softer. If they turn the volume down, we've only said this 8,000 times, then there will be no hearings. No one here is trying to shut the business down. No one wants to see Embers closed for 2 days in a row. So that was my fast track idea. And you guys can work around it as a committee and come up with and massage it and make it better and whatever, but that was where I was going with it. Okay?
Can I just say one thing? You said you don't want to say close. You're not talking close the whole restaurant down, just the.
No, the
Okay.
music. No, I mean,
Okay.
no, I'm not.
All right.
No, I'm saying.
That's what I thought.
No, I'm saying the entertainment.
Yeah.
So, and then one other thing I was gonna mention, just so I do a lot of homework on this. So the ABCC has guidelines for extension of premises on patios and outdoor areas. And number 6 on this sheet says the licensing authority should consider the type of neighborhood and the potential for noise in the environment. This is only for patio, this isn't even entertainment. So there is some stuff with the alcohol, AAB, whatever it is, ABCC, that is giving guidelines. And I'm not saying these are the guys, but you need to know there's stuff out there. So there's some reality and realism in all this stuff. So just to throw it out, there's other things to look at. But I really think going that 2-tier, if it's acceptable, I don't see why it couldn't be, only because we have it everywhere. I get a speeding ticket. Do I fight it?
Right.
Or do I pay
Yeah.
it? Right?
Right.
Chief,
Yeah.
if I fight it, do I have to pay court costs and stuff like that sometimes?
If you fight it,
Yeah.
I mean, you could bring an attorney, you could,
Yeah, so, but I'm.
it depends on how you want to go after it.
So that's my thought on this whole thing. They don't have to. I want to take the hearing. No problem. No argument. That's totally up to them. But I like the part of having a list.
right? And I think that you have to be careful about, you start all over at the beginning of next year. I don't think you should have the baggage forever. I agree.
Yeah, no.
But it's hard to think that they went and did, say, 5 violations, and they start the next year and they get 5 more, and then, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
somehow, and I don't know how you do this, I have no clue, because I do think that everybody is getting better, okay? I applaud, I don't live on the other end, but I get the Ember end. Never past 10 o'clock. I've never heard of past 10 o'clock last time. So there are things that are, you know, improving, there's no doubt about it. So I think we're on the right track, we just need to push them, and we need to make it easier on these guys. They're out there doing stuff that's much more important than noise, so, you know, anyway, that's it.
Thank you.
Can I just comment on the baggage time frame thing? It's on page 17 of the regulations. So on the 1.17 disciplinary guidelines, it says only offenses which have occurred within the 2 years preceding the date of violation shall be used in calculating the number of offenses for purposes of the disciplinary guidelines.
Preceding
So-
years.
So it's in the bylaw.
Yeah,
That thing's
it's in the
fair.
bylaws. I thought I read that
Fair,
somewhere.
so you can
Yeah.
work your way out of it, right?
Mhm.
And there's also, you know, first offense, second offense, third offense tier in that, within that.
Okay.
Regulation.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Just a question about meeting notifications. It was posted in the Chronicle that I got today, this meeting. It wasn't in last week's Chronicle. Did you get those meeting notifications in the head?
They go out
In the
yeah.
Chronicle, they weren't in the last week. Okay.
I do
Just-
them when I, in a timely manner, I guess. They don't make the Chronicle.
They're required by COS by noon on Thursday of the week prior. That's it. Okay?
I'm-
And by law, 48 hours.
Right, I'm just saying that it wasn't in, this meeting wasn't in last week's Chronicle. It was in Chronicle I got today.
Because we actually, didn't we meet, what day did we meet last
We
week?
met last week, yeah.
No, but what day of the week did we meet last week? Was last week Thursday?
If you get online on the Howard's website,
It may have been-
you can get on there and have
Yeah.
all those
And,
set exactly when she posts.
and I'm speaking more for digital dinosaurs like
Uh,
myself, who like to read a newspaper and find out what's going on.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
can't
it's
always
ours.
promise it, I mean, I put them out when
What
I,
day did we
in a
meet
timely
last week?
fashion.
Did we meet on Thursday
Yeah,
last
the
week?
the meetings are required to be posted legally in the paper.
That's why I wanted to.
Only the
You
meetings.
can look at it and make the
So
comments.
that's just
Right.
because.
Lifetime.
Yeah, I think so.
That's the hearing.
Try.
All right. By the way, I'm
Met
now
on
over
Tuesday of last week.
Lewis Lane in Harwichport,
Yeah.
and behind the banks, it's the.
Oh,
private
yeah,
way
yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
Connects the banks to Pleasant Street. And we hear these, even with the buffering of the Anchorage condos, there's a tree line between us and Bank Park. And we're well over 150 feet, but we hear the music. But again, I spend a lot of time in federal law enforcement, and these guys have a lot more important things to do, in my mind, than noise complaints. And I appreciate what this committee is doing and the effort you're putting into it. And I wouldn't make a phone call. I would come to the meetings and, encourage what you're doing.
Would you call the business?
I would call the
You would call the
business
business, okay.
if I felt comfortable
Mhm.
in doing that.
Mhm.
If we knew that it wasn't going to be, any kind of acrimonious exchange.
No, I don't
I
think so.
don't-
No, I was just curious if you would. I'm not
Oh,
putting you on
sure.
the spot. I mean,
No, that would be
You
it.
know.
Not these guys. I think I would way more important things to do on a Saturday night.
Because that can lead into how we can get communication between businesses and
Mhm.
residents to try and keep the police out of it if at all possible. So I was just curious if you would,
Sure.
because some people don't feel comfortable apparently doing that,
Mhm.
so.
Thank you.
I have a question, Angela. We're meeting next week on the 3rd. Do you feel there'll need to be another meeting in March before
It's
the
gonna have to
report?
be before the 31st.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
I know, we're gonna have some problems.
I'm wondering if March, the March is just a tough month for me, it's just the
Mhm.
way it turned out. I was wondering about Tuesday, March 17th.
You know, can we do,
I
can
can't do the 17th.
you do the 18th?
St. Patrick's Day.
No, yeah, that's right. Got an Irish last name.
Are you talking to me?
No, me,
Will
not
you be,
Mara.
will you be okay the next night?
Oh,
Still?
yeah, we're a little slow.
The 12th?
I won't be here.
We can't do Monday nights, can we?
Well, it's
Or can
back
we-
to Cindy.
I'm only here for a short time. You guys can have, if we can do 5 o'clock opposed to 5:30, that gives us an extra half hour. That's up to
Are
you
you here
guys.
on March 16th?
Yes,
You are?
March 16th, yes.
You're here the 16th, but not the 17th?
No, I can
I
be here the
can't do
7th.
the
She can't do the 17th.
Oh, you can't be
Yeah,
here
yeah.
the 17th.
What about,
I don't think I can do the 17th, but
No,
I
that's
think I
right.
can do
No,
the
no.
Can we
16th.
do Monday,
16th.
can we do the 16th at
Tuesday at
5?
do you want to book a
What
few?
about the 10th? What about
Won't be.
No, I can't.
that whole week?
No.
Anytime in that week?
After the 15th.
The whole week is gone?
Do you
I'll
want
be
to,
gone that whole week.
yeah, do you want to do a couple meetings
Sure.
that week? I mean,
16.
Okay, so
you
we're doing the
said?
16th at 5 o'clock?
16th is the only one that I have that week,
What day of the week's that?
Monday.
about the following week.
Okay, I'm then out of town for the rest of the month.
Okay.
I'm out of town 23rd to the 27th.
Okay,
16th at 5 or 5:30?
5 o'clock.
Fine.
And
So
next
that's gonna
week
be our
is at
last-
5 or 5:30?
That could, then we've got 2 more meetings before the report on the 31st.
Okay, after the 16th, what was the other date that we threw out? We haven't.
We don't.
No, Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
Oh,
5
this,
o'clock, 5:30.
oh, this Tuesday it's 5:30. Coming up, it's 5:30.
I only go 1 week ahead.
Okay, so we'll do the 16th and then we'll, maybe book another, we can look at our
Do you want to
calendars.
do a longer session? When's the next one?
3rd and the 16th.
3rd and the
Third?
16th.
Would a longer session help?
Not on the 3rd, but the 16th would be fine for me.
You guys can just go ahead.
We'll do 5, just,
Well, we'll just put out 5
5
and then we'll
o'clock.
just,
and see if we can't.
Do we have to say our end time? We
No.
just keep
No,
going as long
but
as we
just
want?
know that I probably won't be voting.
Okay.
It's up to you
Okay.
guys.
well, if we're gonna do a vote, we really need to have everybody here.
Making recommendations, is it important that we, I mean, you're going to be at the select board's meeting?
Yeah. I mean, unless you guys can do 4:30, give us, all right, then,
Well, what we could probably do is we'll do the 5 o'clock meeting, try and really get things condensed and ready to vote on so that we can go to a meeting where everybody's here to vote. With
I'm
all
not
our
here
information.
after the 16th to be able to vote in
Oh,
March.
that's right, oh, that's right. But you can call in.
From Greece?
Oh, no.
We might be there by the 16th, you know.
I think
Could
we'll
be.
be there on the
Yeah, we should.
16th. I don't see
We're
why we
meeting
can't
Maybe
be.
twice in a week
Yeah.
and then the 16th? I
When
think.
when are we meeting twice?
We're
The
meeting on
3rd,
meeting
and
on
then
the
the
3rd,
16th.
and we can get it to the
Meeting
point, by the time we
today
leave on the
and
3rd, that we
Mhm.
can be ready to vote. on the
today,
16th.
the 3rd, and the 16th.
Okay, it's not place on St. Lucie, right?
No.
Well, but please get your information to me, not the day before, because I'm really gonna have to
Okay.
I will-
get everybody's
I will mail
ideas.
your the stuff to you.
And you need to condense your stuff.
What are you talking?
No, don't do
This was good.
This was easy
This
to
one was
read.
good. Yeah, this one was good.
Well, I gotta drive home. then
I'm giving you a hard time.
I gotta drive home, I'll get it to you late tonight.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Yes,
That was a good